Chess is a simple game to learn, but very difficult to master. So in order to scrape the rust off my skills, I decided to take on my dad. As you can see by the footage, I drew white and proceeded to try and bamboozle him by playing speed chess. Unfortunately, he saw through my shallow attempt at gamesmanship and retaliated with a more measured response. With time to think, he soon began snaffling my pieces, and despite early pressure and a momentary check, he soon took charge in the final third of the game.
Your mission is a failure.
Okay, that didn't go very well. Change of plan. I'll take on the novice computer instead. I mean, how hard could it be? Okay, I get it. I'm not good at chess anymore. Get off my lawn! Battle Chess is a chess game released for DOS that features animated pieces. Alright, I'll do a slightly more in-depth review than that. There's quite the overlap between people who like technology and people who are good at chess, so it shouldn't be a shock to learn that computerized chess has existed since 1957, which by my calculations is a significant amount of time before 1991. But wait just a cotton-picking minute, son. The original Battle Chess was released in 1988. Why aren't you reviewing it? Well, when it comes to chess, there's only so many gameplay enhancements you can make. In addition to the sound and graphics, possibly the most important is the improved AI of your computer opponent, which is good if you're a sad loner with no friends to play against. That's definitely not me. I'm not going to teach you chess in this video. It's been around since the 6th century in one form or another, and my ELO rating is probably in the single digits currently. Brian Fargo, seen here still wearing the helmet from my previous Lord of the Rings video, had decided to publish games independently of EA, releasing the William Gibson-derived Neuromancer adventure game, and following it up with the game we're reviewing today, which was programmed by Interplay mainstays Michael Quarles, Jay Patel, and Troy P. Worrell. Also, Bruce Schlickburn was there, sorry Bruce. Soon after, the advent of multimedia PCs made the games of just a few years past look long in the tooth. So Fargo cleverly upgraded several of Interplay's titles in order to remain competitive in this brave new world. Battle Chess was one of the games that received this treatment, with a new soundtrack, enhanced music and effects, and improved resolution and animations, bringing it up to modern standards, and rendering the previous title obsolete. As proof of this, I had the two titles play each other on maximum difficulty. As I watched the pieces battle back and forth side by side, and played their corresponding moves for them with liberal use of Alt-Tab, I was really able to appreciate both the similarities and differences between the two DOS versions I'd pitted against one another. While the newer version had better graphics and sound, the perspective was slightly different and the pieces were larger, leaving less space for the squares and cluttering up the board a little too much for my liking. The most notable difference in terms of play was the speed of the pieces, with the older version moving things along much more swiftly than its successor, whose beautifully animated multimedia army ponderously marched across the board at an agonizing pace. Because the game can spend over 20 minutes mulling over a move, I soon lowered the amount of time I gave each machine to think, while keeping the cycles count the same. Everything about the two DOSBox emulators I ran was identical. It was very much a level playing field. The time restriction and limited cycles resulted in a few very suspect sacrifices, with both AIs giving up their queen for a better position. Ultimately, there was only going to be one winner though, with the newer program repeatedly on the offense and its king never facing check the entire game. Mate with bishops came after a contentious jockeying for position that resulted in the encounter lasting 45 minutes, during which I like to think that the old Battle Chess AI was coming to terms terms with the fact that it was playing its eventual replacement. If you don't care for sound and want a faster and easier game, I'd suggest the version from the late 80s. If you want all the bells and whistles and don't mind fighting both compatibility and scarcity issues, then try and uncover the newer edition. This version, programmed for regular IBM compatibles by Greg Christensen, was specially enhanced for multimedia Windows PCs by Patrick Wyatt of Silicon and Synapse, who would go on to program a few interesting titles for them under a different name. Battle Chess ended up selling really well for the company considering it was a niche title, shipping 250,000 copies by 1993. It spawned a similar version based on Chinese chess, and a sci-fi version that was less well received. The third version of the game was cancelled in the late 90s. That's pretty much it for the history lesson. Let's play some chess! Both versions of the game play almost exactly the same. The menu is brought up by holding the right mouse button, allowing you to load and save board states, start a new game, or set up a custom scenario, like moving your king out of position for no reason. A helpful, fully voiced tutorial is provided for people who purchase the game but don't know how to play chess. The move menu allows you to force the computer to play a move, take back a move, watch a replay of a move, or you can even ask the friendly computer for advice on what to move before it trounces you. Settings allows you to alternate between human and AI opponents, 3D and 2D boards, and whether to have the music on or not. Level is a tricky one, as it defines how long the computer has to calculate a move, rather than how difficult the game is. So while the game should technically be harder if the computer is given more time to think, unless you're spot on with processor cycles, you'll find this is a very challenging game of chess regardless of how little time you give it. The main draw of the game are when the units clash, with custom animations depending on who is taking what piece. Unfortunately for the game, this is the gimmick that really sold it. It doesn't really play speed chess. While animations can be skipped, the movement in general is close to glacial. I also found that sound effects were still present in the 2D mode of the game, so you couldn't just switch to ordinary chess entirely. The problem with gimmicks is that outside of a nostalgia pop, they don't have staying power. The entertaining animations that held people in awe back in the late 80s and early 90s only amuse for a brief period of time before getting in the way of the flow of the game now. The fixed isometric perspective of the board also means you might miss key moves unless you're constantly switching between modes. So while the appeal of chess is universal, this iteration of it isn't. It doesn't hold up because there are much better pure chess games now, and once the novelty wears off, you won't be sticking around for just the animations, or the music that keeps restarting after every move. For players who want a challenge, there's the likes of Stockfish and Leela Chess Zero. For people who just want a good chess program, there's always the series that put an end to battle chess altogether, Chessmaster. You'll note that I didn't recommend the more modern Battle vs Chess or Battle Chess Game of Kings, as the former is DRM hell, and the latter is a bug-ridden mess if reviews on Steam are anything to go by, which they aren't always. Speaking of which, as of the recording of this review, the original version of Battle Chess is available digitally, but the superior enhanced CD-ROM edition isn't. Now, I don't know either. Overall, Battle Chess is a fun romp for a game or two, but unless you have childhood memories of it or need animated pixel art chess pieces in order to play the game, then you're better off looking up a compilation video of the various takedowns. While you might not need a board to play chess, sometimes it's the most authentic way. I wouldn't play on the grass though. Despite there being no sign as of yet, I'll have to insist that you get off my lawn. Patrick Wyatt. Patrick Wyatt. Where have I heard that name before?
Zug zug.